Another thing that I want to mention is more explaining the how it's working. Actually, you can see in my presentation here. Yes. First, here I explained about the algorithm. I use mascar CNN. It returns these output, and I explained the process converting to uint 8, and here we have a problem with a lot of points, and we approximated COCO format, and approximating too high and a better approximation. And integration with CVAT. There are three main ways using the dump and import annotations buttons by hand, using as a feature that we saw, and using REST API. I first explained this that I done. Here you see the three green containers. Inside CVAT containers, we have TensorFlow process, files, the dataset, and Django process. So what happens when you click on Django process? As I explained, it will run a function named create thread. Here, it will be kind of create a new process inside Redis, and Redis first ask the location of image from database like this, and it will return the response. After that, Redis will run this TensorFlow process. Actually, this function. So here, both of them are inside CVAT container, but they are different and independent process. So how it's possible to for them to talk to each other? So it's using Redis queue actually. So Redis gives the address of the files which TensorFlow locally has access, and TensorFlow starts the progress. It will write the progress inside Redis, and also the last result. When it writes the progress here, the Django process, as I told in previous video, will poll and ask about the progress and the status of the TensorFlow process too, because it want to show on this button. It want to change the title of the button. So it will be run again and for all of the images, and it will run progress. For example, if you see 50% done, it means that 50% of the images are annotated and then 50% remain. And after that, when all of the annotations are done, it will give the result actually. And here the process, which is kind of the parent process for this TensorFlow process, and it's independent to Django process, will write the change to database using put task data. Yes, this function. It will say for this task ID by this user and this result added to database. And also it will change the progress to finished, which the next time the Django asks will show it's finished. And when you refresh the page, you will see the new annotations. The other way is using REST API, HTTP, actually. I didn't use this approach, but it's quite easy. The only problem is the dataset, the files are not here inside CVAT container, but it's very good because you could run the TensorFlow process inside even other servers, other containers, anywhere else. So it could be anything, any code, Python, Ruby, C++, or anything that supports HTTP requests. So you need to just install some REST client for Python or anything, and you could authenticate with username and password. Actually, here is an example of actually this API call. With this address API v1 tasks, we could maybe test API v1. You won't use it like this. You won't use it like this, but I'm just showing it's a simple HTTP. Yes, you could see. This will show the list of the tasks. So we have two tasks with ID 2 and ID 4. So, for example, tasks for annotations. It will show annotations for the task with ID 4. Yes, here you go. You could see this is the response that will be returned when you call you do a GET request to this address. You could see polygons with points actually. ID 4 frames or things like that. So what about changing and updating? There's a API documentation, very common, that you could use with this address, which I also mentioned here and also in the document in the ending part is the REST API approach with Swagger documentation. So this is the documentation for HTTP REST API. You could see it could send different requests for different models and actually tables. For example, we need here tasks and task annotation. If you send a GET request, you will get all of the annotations for task. For example, we use for example, we could call and use here, and you could see here the response for our request. It's the response body actually that we could see. It's a response header, but it's not really visible, and request time and so on. Yes, for updating, you could update with put request, and it's actually easy. It's not that difficult with REST clients. So you need to use just REST clients, and they will do it for you easily, and there's no problem. Here you could update annotations for this task, or deleting all the annotations for some task. And if there is a partial with patch request, which I'm not sure about it, it's kind of partial change, partial update, but you need to test them. You could send request, get users, and so on. So when you run your code, your TensorFlow process outside here, you need to get the labels here. You need to get the files somehow. You need to maybe get the user, all with these HTTP requests. So you could first send this request and then make a task update request and so on. So this is kind of an overview on how to do it, but also you need to do it yourself by try and error and reading more. You could see it's also authorized and used CVS user, login with the CVS user, and if you are not logging, for it's good for security issue, security reasons, that you could kind of send requests because you are not authorized. So not everyone can send requests, but only authorized and people with an account can send requests. Thank you for your attention.